Ordered.
Mr. Speaker, House Resolution 908 provides for complete consideration of H.R. 5515, the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2019. The rule makes in order 168 amendments to go along with the previous 103 amendments made in order by yesterday's rule. That means the full House will consider 271 amendments to this year's NDAA. When you add in the 307 amendments considered in the Armed Services Committee, that means a total of 588 amendments to the NDAA will be considered this year. Mr. Speaker, for this year's NDAA, a record number of amendments were submitted to the Rules Committee. I want to thank both the Majority and the Minority Rules Committee staff, our Rules Associates, and the staff of the Armed Services Committee for the many hours they put into this open and deliberate process. As a member of both the Rules Committee and the Armed Services Committee, I've spent my fair share of time working on this piece of legislation. Like years past, I want to again highlight the bipartisan nature of our work. This year's NDAA passed out of the Armed Services Committee on a bipartisan 60-1 vote. That bipartisanship will continue here on the floor, where 176 of the amendments made in order are minority or bipartisan amendments. The theme of this year's NDAA is to reform and rebuild our nation's military. The bill supports an increase in top-line funding for the military as we continue working to reverse the readiness crisis we faced for at least the last decade. Any organization, including the military, is only as good as its people, and this NDAA authorizes a 2.6% pay raise for our troops, the largest increase in 9 years. This will help us retain and recruit the best and the brightest. The bill also calls for increases in the size of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Naval and Air Reserve, as well as the Air Guard. As Vice Chairman of the Sea Power Subcommittee, I am pleased the bill authorizes construction of 13 new Navy ships. This is a much-needed step as we continue building towards a 355-ship Navy. I'm especially proud that this year's NDAA includes many provisions important to my home state of Alabama. From Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville to the Anniston Army Depot, to Fort Rucker in the Wiregrass, to Maxwell Gunner in Montgomery, to the Austell Shipyard in Mobile, this bill ensures that Alabama will continue playing a leading role in supplying, training, and supporting our nation's military. Sadly, we have lost far too many service members to training accidents over the last year. So the bill ensures improvements to military training and safety programs to help protect our servicemen and women. These efforts include repairing outdated equipment and ensuring the procurement of new first-class capabilities. This includes additional Stryker A-1 combat vehicles, Army Armored Brigade Combat Team vehicles, FA-18EF Super Hornets, C-130 Super Hercules aircraft, E-2D Advanced Hawkeye aircraft, F-35 Joint Strike Fighters, U-860M Black Hawk helicopters, and advanced missiles. The bill continues to build on Chairman Thornberry's priority of reforming the Pentagon bureaucracy to make it more efficient and effective. This includes streamlining buying practices. From Russia to Iran to China to North Korea, the bill makes investments to ensure we are keeping up with our adversaries. The United States must stand ready to confront aggression around the globe, whether it's from major state actors or rogue terrorist organizations. Importantly, this year's NDAA includes much-needed investment in our nuclear deterrent and authorizes for the Missile Defense Agency. It authorizes funding for co-development and co-production of missile defense and weapons systems with our key ally, Israel. All told, I'm confident that this bill includes the reforms and funding levels necessary to rebuild and empower the greatest fighting force in the world. With this NDAA, we can hopefully continue to embody a strategy of peace through strength and support our service members. Mr. Speaker, if you ever need to pick me up or a shot in the arm, I encourage you to spend some time visiting with our servicemen and women. These individuals come from all different walks of life and backgrounds. They all play different roles and have different jobs, but they are united by the common goal of defending and protecting the United States of America. I distinctly remember a conversation I had with a group of sailors from my home state of Alabama aboard the USS John C. Stennis a few years ago. After hearing about their various paths that led them to the Navy, I asked what I could do for them. One response was straightforward but very poignant. She asked me to make sure the American people knew what they did and that we supported them. That's exactly what we do with this bill. We bring together members of Congress from both sides of the aisle, from different parts of the country, and we unite behind the common goal of supporting the men and women in uniform who protect the United States of America. With this bill, we can send a clear message to our sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Marines that the United States Congress has their back, that we are committed to the mission, and we will ensure that they have the right policies and the right resources to get the job done. This bill also sends a message to our friends and our adversaries that America is back, and that while we prefer peace, we will not hesitate to do what is necessary to defend our country and protect our interests. So I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting House Resolution 908, and for the 58th year in a row, let's pass a bipartisan NDAA.